Relax. And open up the conduit of your imagination, which is the communication conduit to your higher mind. And in relaxing, allow yourself to image what we are about to say in your mind's eye. Imagine that you have a mirror. It can be large, small, separate from a wall. It doesn't matter what it is, as long as you have the ability to look into this mirror, as long as the mirror has some kind of an edge. And imagine, thus then, that you are writing the number 11 on a piece of paper or any other medium that you wish, and you are thus placing this 11 in front of the mirror in such a manner that you can see both the one you've written on the paper and its reflection in the mirror, so that the paper and the reflection together show 1111. Thus then, once you have done that, allow yourself thus then to focus on this 1111. Part in your reality, part in the mirror's reality. And allow yourself to feel vibrations, whatever the idea of the number of 11, whatever resonance you find works for you in your imagination, imbue and infuse the idea of the 11 on the paper with that frequency, and allow yourself to also imagine that the reflection in the mirror is also vibrating at that frequency. As you imagine that the vibratory frequency passes from the paper into the reflection in the mirror, you can also begin to imagine that the mirror itself is starting to vibrate at that frequency. And as you begin to imagine that the mirror itself is vibrating at that frequency, you can recognize that all it's doing is reflecting to you the frequency that is going on in your reality outside the mirror. So you have created a kind of vibratory feedback loop. The vibration in your reality, the vibration of the 11 on the paper, transferring to the reflection of the paper in the mirror, transferring to the mirror, which reflects back to you the same vibration, round and round and round and round in a kind of a circular way. Just allow yourself to sit with this vibration, to sit in this vibration for a moment in your imagination and just feel it coursing through you. A nice, gentle, vibratory hum. Now, I am going to ask you to think about this mirror, to view this mirror in a different way than you normally view the idea of a mirror. We have talked about the idea of parallel realities. I am asking you now to do the following thing in your imagination. Imagine, if you are willing, to see the mirror not as a reflective surface of your reality, but see it as a window into an actual, real, parallel reality that exists at the same time as yours, in which there is an identical version of you doing exactly the same things you're doing at the same time. Look through it like a clear piece of glass that is not your reflection. It's another version of you in another reality looking back at you, doing exactly the same things at the same time, because these are parallel realities. Start to let this idea sink in, that you're actually looking through a window, through a gateway, through an opening into an actual parallel reality with another version of you that just happens to be doing exactly the same things you are doing simultaneously. So if you touch your nose, so will that version of you in that reality. But it's not a reflection. They're just doing the same things at the same time and looking at you as if you are their reflection in their mirror. But as you begin to allow this concept that you're looking through a window instead of into a mirror to sink in, you can begin doing different things to watch the other you in the other reality that is a true autonomous being in its own reality, his or her reality. You can begin to do different things, touch your nose, touch your ear, touch your eye, make different faces, make different signs and symbols, and watch that version of you also doing the same things at the same time, because they, from their point of view, are doing those things in their mind first. And just watching you as the parallel reality to them, mimicking the same things at the same time, because you are their parallel reality. You are their reflection. Allow this idea to become more and more concrete, more real. Truly, truly, that is another person. Truly, truly, they just happen to be doing exactly what you're doing at the same time. Now, as you continue to do this, and as you continue to watch your parallel reality counterpart apparently choosing to do the same things at the same time that you are choosing to do them, now let your imagination create just one small, subtle, surprising difference. Maybe you touch your nose and maybe they touch their eye. Something is just slightly different than it was before. And you catch it. You catch the difference and you stop and you feel the shock wave go through you that this is truly a different reality, that the reflection is no longer identical. Similar, but not the same. And now you begin to amplify the idea that this is truly another person in another reality looking at you with what appears to be the same face, but it isn't yours, it's theirs. As you begin to experience more and more and more of the idea that they're doing things slightly differently than you, those differences can become more magnified. The lines, the parallel lines in a sense, can begin to widen and diverge. So that even as you are watching, you are shifting from parallel reality to parallel reality to parallel reality, seeing different parallel realities through that glass, through that window, and seeing the subtle differences and then the greater differences that are happening in that world from yours. And you can even see the look of astonishment and surprise on the face of your parallel counterparts as they recognize that you are no longer their reflection, but a true being in another reality doing something that is similar but different from what they are doing. And you can begin to truly relate to one another as different aspects of the same soul, but in different realities, experiencing things somewhat simultaneously, somewhat similarly, but not the same. Thus then, as you create more and more differences, you can begin to realize that what you can do is send the vibratory energy of the 1111 gate into this scenario so that you are one of the ones in the 11 and he and she is one of the ones, so that you each become the 11. One of the ones in the 11. You become each a tuning fork, each a parallel line to each other, and you resonate to each other in such a manner that as you send these waves back and forth through the window, back and forth to each other, you build up this energy in such a fashion that you can each start to imagine the reality you wish to see, you desire to see, you prefer to see yourself in that reality, in that parallel world. Build up this image, change this image, visualize this image of that parallel reality becoming, shifting to the ideal reality you prefer. See all the things happening in that reality through that window that are representative of the reality you prefer to experience, and seeing yourself in that reality through the auspices of this identical partner you have now created in this simultaneously coexisting parallel version of yourself in that reality, who is seeing the same things in you, seeing the realities they prefer. And as you allow yourself to allow the reality on the other side of the glass to become exactly representative, precisely representative of that reality you prefer to experience, and knowing that at the same time they are doing the same thing for themselves, Feel the vibration of the 1111 gateway amplifying, connecting you, locking you together. Feel it magnify and amplify to a great degree the energy of excitement, the energy, the thrill of seeing that reality being lived, knowing it is real. And feel the vibrations for that reality and your reality now approaching the glass, approaching the glass, approaching the glass until the glass vibrates and resonates. And then the vibrations from one reality to another cross. And you are hit with the frequency of that reality, and that version of you is hit with the frequency of their ideal reality on your side of the glass. And you exchange instantaneously those vibrations, those realities. Let them sink in. And as the vibrations once again settle down, harmonize, you go back to the idea of seeing the glass as a mirror, seeing it be a reflection, an actual reflection that is now a reflection of the ideal reality with you in it. It is truly your reflection, your reality, your vibration, harmonized, synchronized, locked as one parallel reality stream. Even as you know that your counterpart is now experiencing exactly the same thing on their side for their ideal reality vibration. And you have assisted each other, worked with a parallel reality counterpart to assist each other in strengthening, amplifying, magnifying, and locking in the vibration of the reality you prefer and doing the same for them. And let that vibration now be your vibration. Let it become familiar as your vibration. Let the reflection be your reality. Let it be a reflection of the true you. And look back down at the 11 reflection and the paper 11. And know that anytime you wish, as you pick up the paper with the 11 on it, and see yourself holding that 11 in the reflection of the mirror that reflects your new reality, anytime you wish, you can avail yourself of this permission slip, this tool, this exchange. Anytime you wish to fine-tune, refine any idea of better harmonization with that reality of your preference, you can always, once again, use that as the phone number of the parallel reality of your counterpart. Place it next to the mirror so you can see the 1111 in the reflection, and dial the number up once again, and know unerringly that your counterpart will always be there on the other side of the glass, on the other side of the window, because they're doing exactly the same thing at the same time, because they're there to help you as you are there to help them. And this is one way to allow yourself truly to experience the idea of cross-connecting energies between parallel reality selves to aid and assist each other in really truly becoming more and more of who you wish to be, who you prefer to be. This is one way to truly amplify, magnify, and lock in a relationship with yourself, a relationship of reflection, a relationship of willingness to be more and more of who you are by being of service to other counterparts and allowing them to become more and more of who they are at the same time. Take a deep breath in and lock this 11 energy within yourselves. It is yours to use. You are, in that sense, constantly shifting from parallel reality to parallel reality. You are parallel reality beings. That is your nature. You don't have to learn how to do it. You do it automatically. You just need to learn to guide it in the direction of your preferential vibration. It's as simple as that.